Man, we're finally going to get into it of the announcement for New Japan Pro Wrestling that probably shook the internet world and also the wrestling world as well. But what I want to say first and foremost is that I find it very, very hilarious that Suji put this all in motion because of his comments to Bushiroad to remind Bushiroad that the wrestlers of New Japan Pro Wrestling are not just trading cards, that they are actual people that put their lives on the line for the audience and for the fans. And so I find it kind of funny that after he said that, we also got word of Bushiroad taking out a $10 billion yen as a loan to pay back whatever it is. Obviously, they were probably in a hole and they were in debt. So they took that. However, they took that from other companies. And I said this before on Instagram to like somebody else. And guess what? That person blocked me, and that person was a musician, because that person probably read too many Uncle Dave newsletter write-ups and thought that he knew a lot more. And it's 2026. We can no longer say that, well, we can still say, I should say it as, we cannot use it as a crutch to say that the yen is down. When you allow almost every single country to have open borders, and you have people that want to be refugees and they come in and take the resources, of course, your dollar value is going to be down. However, that does not mean that it is forever going to be down, especially when you start cleaning up your countries and cleaning up your cities, your states, wherever you live. Once it gets cleaned up, once you basically try to bring back some type of resemblance of what it is to be Japanese and what it is to live in Japan, you know, the dollar value or the yen value is not going to stay low for fucking ever. But you can't tell anything to any of these fans because they don't want to understand some type of nuance for it. So, you know, it's interesting that Bushiroad did not go to a Japanese bank to get $10 billion yen as their loan. They went to 3 different companies and they gave Bushiroad the loan for that. Why is that interesting? Because no company, if we want to go with the guy, the commenter that said that the yen is down, if we want to go with that, right? That would mean that the companies would not take that risk to give it to another Japanese company if they did not think that there will be a return on investment for that large amount of money that they asked for. So 3 companies were willing to give Bushiroad 10 billion yen for getting out of debt, for using it. And Bushiroad did not go to a Japanese bank to do it. So that right there tells me that the yen is probably getting back up there because, you know, as I said before in my other videos and my other content, that money rises and falls. You might have some good, 6 months of a surplus, and then you might have 2 months where you're struggling. You might have 3 months where it's like decent, it goes up and down. Money comes and goes. Okay. I don't understand this idea of wrestling fans that have to be like, well, in Japan, the yen is down. It's 2026. This isn't COVID. Get over it. And so, yeah, it's interesting how everything is just falling like domino effects. So this is the announcement here on the screen, to where New Japan basically says that we hereby announce that our largest shareholder, Bushiroad, remember that Bushiroad owned New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, has concluded a share transfer agreement as of today, I think like 2 days ago now, with TVA Cyber. I'm going to fuck up that name all the time. Corporation and Cyber Agent, which again, this is also interesting, regarding Bushiroad's shares in our company, Obviously, TVA is where they strike down every single kind of channel. You can't have New Japan stuff. They're very, very, very strict. Very, very strict. But, you can do some other stuff. And Cyber Agent is one of the biggest networks to stream a lot of the Japanese wrestling on there and like Japanese fights and stuff. They have all the other Joshi wrestling companies on there as well too and whatnot. Yeah, man, we should all ask for a loan from Bushiroad. We should. And Cyber Agent has Pro Wrestling Noah on there. Do you know for the longest time, New Japan Pro Wrestling has had this chip on their shoulder where they thought that they were bigger and better than Pro Wrestling Noah? At one point in time, that was true, that they were better than Pro Wrestling Noah, but this is what happens when you are in a continuous partnership with All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. They have damaged New Japan Pro Wrestling. They continue to damage New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this is just an effect of the partnership. And so now New Japan Pro Wrestling has become the little brother to Pro Wrestling Noah. Just because their wrestlers talked shit about Pro Wrestling Noah and whatnot. Whether it was in kayfabe, whether it was real, it's still like, yo, I don't know if this is karma or not. But yes, Cyber Agent is basically one of the biggest streaming services to have that, and also Japanese dramas and films and on there. And I think, like, if you really look at it, compare that to NJPW World. Obviously, I think Cyber Agent like has a really good, like, might have a better subscriber base, but we wouldn't really know too much about that. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. You and AI have been saying that New Japan Pro Wrestling has not benefited from this so-called partnership because all I've seen is the rating of New Japan talent to AEW. Exactly. And then when I say this, people get mad at me. When I am completely right about this whole shit, people get mad at me, man. People get mad at me. So that's the interesting news. I do know that in the statement from the CEO of Bushiroad, Katani, it is Katani, right? Or is it Kadani? No, Kadani is the other one. That the reason was, from my remembrance, I was reading up on this yesterday. Let me find it. I should have had this already. Of course I did. I should have had this already. So basically, they sold off their shares. So they got their money back, essentially. Essentially, they got their money back. So it's basically this, that like, from the perspective of promoting diversified monetization through the utilization of video content, assets, and distribution platforms, the company determined that conducting New Japan Pro Wrestling's business under TVA, which has long been a major shareholder of New Japan and possesses a strong broadcasting and video business platform in CyberAgent, which has outstanding expertise in digital media operations, will be a better option to maximize New Japan Pro Wrestling's video and digital strategy for corporate value enhancement and to achieve sustainable growth for future enhancement of corporate value. Essentially, the president of Bushiroad no longer knew or understood the landscape of what it means to have the video content assets to be extremely monetized, because I can tell you from experience that when you have Tony Khan as your business partner, and whether or not, people are unsatisfied with their contracts or money stuff, here comes Tony Khan to take the main people that should be the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling for a couple more years, because they still have a lot more stuff, like a lot more to give to the company, to the fans, and trying to expand outward. But when you have Tony Khan being like, hey, here's a bag of money, and he takes almost everybody that has star power now on New Japan Pro Wrestling and puts them on AEW, do you think those New Japan Pro Wrestling fans that got the subscription for New Japan Pro Wrestling because they fell in love with the good crop of wrestlers, do you think that they want to keep their subscription if those wrestlers are not going to be there? That's what I think. I think that the reason why the selling finally came is because, again, probably people in management in New Japan Pro Wrestling saw the writing on the wall that we no longer have star power. They could probably deny it like all they want to. They could probably twist the stories all they want to, but you can see it. Right now, New Japan Pro Wrestling has the bare bones. Right now, it is Best of the Super Juniors, and I don't really care about it because it's like there's no hype. You have almost the same people. You have new people like Nick Wayne. I don't even know why I'm doing air quotes, but Nick Wayne is one of them. He was there before. You have Jun Kasai, who's a deathmatch wrestler. You probably have Dragon Gate people as well. But you're telling me that you can't get, I don't know. You can't get anyone from MOW, from Major League Wrestling. Like the president, the president is Tanahashi, but, like Tiger Hattori, who was at the MOW event in December of last year with Okada, and whatnot. Like you're telling me that Tanahashi could not pick up the phone and call up Court Bauer to be like, hey, can you send me some of your MOW wrestlers to be in Best of the Super Juniors? If you're going to be in a partnership with American companies, you got to pick up that phone and be like, hey, I want some of your wrestlers over here. This is how a partnership works. If AEW and Tony Khan gets upset at that, fuck them. Like, they're not the be all end all of like who gets to work with who doesn't get to work with who and stuff like that. But like, when one person, and the pattern is there, and of course, the laptop wants to act up now while I'm in this stream and I'm ranting. I think I got my laptop mad. And if you hear it, it's basically what it's doing right now. But I was going to document it for purposes for Instagram to be like, look, I really do need a new laptop. And I have a throne wish list for it. But anyway, when you notice the pattern of having one guy that can throw money bags at like anyone and everyone, and when he takes all the star power from New Japan Pro Wrestling, the people who originally got the subscription to NJPW World no longer wants it, because what do they have to look forward to? Like, I love the United Empire. I'm always going to be Hinare's biggest fan and biggest supporter. But the group right now is not the United Empire. And then they're doing this stupid ass fucking story between Ospreay, Callum, and the Death Riders. And no AEW fan with their supposed high IQ can tell me what the fuck is going on. Even from a perspective who has never even watched any Japanese product like myself, but I know from word of mouth about the Japanese talent, there's nothing of substance right now, thanks to the rate. Exactly. And I will back that up. I will definitely second that. My poor laptop, man. My poor laptop is getting heated up, man. Listen, laptop, I love you. I need you for a couple more hours and a couple more rants. But yeah, like, seriously, do you guys really think that a fan is going to stick around when they could watch AEW and give AEW the ratings and give AEW the money if their favorite New Japan wrestler is not going to be on New Japan Pro Wrestling? And these stupid dual contracts, which is so phony, because it's like, oh, well, they have dual contracts and they can go to New Japan Pro Wrestling whenever they want to. You guys treat that like fucking crumbs. You give us back the crumbs of really good wrestlers. Hey, Timmy, what's up? Will has said many times he has to change his style of wrestling due to injury and not being able to pull out the big one so far. That is why he is with the Death Riders. If you watch, you know that. That's the exact shit I was talking about earlier, is that AEW fans get upset and then they tell you what's up and then they'll be like, oh, you would know if you watch it. Fuck out of here. You don't mean that respectfully. Bro, you wouldn't have said it if you didn't mean it. But I'm just saying that, like, you see how you see how that could get a reaction. So like you automatically knew. If you wanted to just give me the information, you would have gave me the information without the if you watch, you know that. Just give me the information if I'm like, you know, hey, it still doesn't make sense. I get it in hindsight, right? That Will Ospreay does need to change up his style. And I agree, Will Ospreay needs to change up his style. But like I said before on my Instagram reels, that the Death Riders is not the people to teach him how to change up his style for a ground and pound sort of attack. Ospreay is still doing the flips and Oz cutters. So what is he really changing up other than working on a body part on Ace Austin for like one time during a match? Death Riders are not the best people to learn from for, like, you know, this whole kayfabe story of him having to change up. But yeah, I'm just gonna call that out, you know, because it's one of those things. And you can't really do I mean respectfully, of course. You know, like, you wouldn't have said it if you just wanted to give me the information. It's just one of those things of like, if we call it out to say that it's an awful story, people are going to come in and like bash us for no reason. And I don't understand it. We want better storytelling. Jon Moxley loses every single time he goes to a Josh Barnett Bloodsport fight. And even that has to be extremely kayfabe, so that way you could believe that Jon Moxley is some kind of fucking MMA fighter. You know what? I hope you guys can hear me. This is why I have this closer, because my laptop again is still doing that fucking shit. But Will Ospreay should go to Bobby Lashley. Will Ospreay should go to the Hurt business or the Hurt Syndicate to learn how to change up his style, you know? Bobby Lashley is more credible than Jon Moxley. Bobby Lashley is more credible than the Death Riders to teach Will Ospreay how to change up his style. No, I think the storyline itself sucks. I just don't think it's fair to say it makes no sense because they have given a reason. The reason, like you said, just sucks. Bro, then it sucks. Stop trying to do a circular motion. Stop trying to do a circular like definition here. Stop it. If Jon Moxley is an MMA fighter, then I'm a 5-star chef. You and me both, Mo. You and me both. Anyway. So I do not like this story of Will Ospreay going back and forth and like he's fighting with Callum, and you know, Callum, honestly, as much as I gave Callum shit in the beginning, I still give him shit because I just don't like the way that his character just progressed. But Callum should have hit Ospreay in the back of his back with the chair at New Year's Dash. I don't know why Hinari stopped them. Like Hinari should not have stopped them. But yeah, Callum should have just ended it right there because there's no reason why number 2, who destroyed the United Empire. Number 1 was Kyle Fletcher that destroyed the United Empire. I covered that whole entire drama, that whole entire thing, and Kyle Fletcher blocked me anyway. But anyway, that's not the point. Yeah, number 2, who destroyed the United Empire, does not get to walk back into the United Empire and try to take a place and try to be under the wing of the new self-appointee leader of the United Empire. Like that's a stupid fucking thing to do. You don't go back to something that you destroyed unless you want to make it better and in your image. But, you know, I don't know. But I do think that when we get to the Forbidden Door, it's definitely going to be Will Ospreay versus Callum Newman. I really do think so. I think we're gonna have that. However, I say all this because I was talking about dual contracts, right? And I think that dual contracts give New Japan Pro Wrestling the crumbs of the industry and the wrestling. Like, how fucking dare you? You take the biggest stars, you have them on AEW for 6 months to a year. They may end up getting hurt, and then they may end up sitting on the sidelines, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, they could go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Wait, you're telling me they couldn't do that like 3 months ago? You know what I mean? Like, dual contracts are fucking stupid. Now, somebody might say, well, what about WWE and like all the partnerships they have? Like, don't they have dual contracts? They probably do have dual contracts. It's just that one is presented better than what AEW is giving New Japan Pro Wrestling. WWE's dual contracts, if we want to call them that, if somebody goes over to AAA, it does not feel like it's breadcrumbs. If somebody from AAA wants to come over to NXT, SmackDown, Raw, it does not feel like breadcrumbs. That is the difference between a dual contract for AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling and a dual contract for WWE and like the many of the partnerships that they have right now, including TNA. You may not like the outcome of like the wrestling matches or the stories, but that's a whole nother different conversation. That's not necessarily like, you know, contract wise. But again, if someone is going to go over to a different promotion, one gets treated better than the other. And so, like I said, I do think after a while, the president of Bushiroad was like, hey, Nothing is really happening. We're not making money. I don't know how else to promote New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm letting this whole thing ride, and the stuff that Suji says, he's completely right. So I'm just gonna sell everything off, and you guys have a good life and hope for the best, right? I think he was seeing the writing on the wall with everyone leaving and jumping ship, and even the wrestlers were talking about it and whatnot. The Great O'Khan was talking about it. And now I find it funny that the Great O'Khan came to the defense of the Bushiroad president, and then now it's like, bro, you know, you look kind of funny, you know, and whatnot. However, I do want to say that Bushiroad only sold off New Japan Pro Wrestling. Bushiroad did not sell off Stardom. I have no idea why. I don't even want to speculate. Maybe, this is just a maybe. This is not even a speculation. Maybe later they will sell them off. Who knows? But I do think it's kind of fucked up that you go and sell New Japan Pro Wrestling, but you don't sell Stardom. When Stardom, you know, I hear that good things are happening with Stardom. Stardom also has the partnership with Major League Wrestling, and we're going to see 2 Stardom women wrestlers on June 11th here in New York City, and in Philadelphia, June 12th and the 13th as well, for TV tapings for MOW Fusion, which is fantastic. But yeah, so I don't know why they would not sell off Stardom. That is a little head scratching. So if you guys can let me know maybe a theory, that would be great. But like I said, I do think that the president saw the writing on the wall, and he cannot take New Japan Pro Wrestling any higher. If I remember correctly, didn't the Death Riders cripple Ospreay last year, then kidnapped him this month, and now he's training with them? Make it make sense. Exactly. That's what I was. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I wish my laptop can like calm down, but this is what happens, man. I'm trying to get through this. So Bushiroad sells. Bushiroad is going to, you know, go off into the sunset. I don't know what's going to happen with Stardom. What I want to show you guys is, this is going to be weird. Is this it? Oh, this is just a company. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. It is. It's a cyber agent is a Japanese internet and entertainment conglomerate specializing in digital advertising, media, and mobile gaming as well. Hey, maybe we could get back the New Japan Pro Wrestling game that I played on my phone. Maybe we could do that. I would definitely love it. Hold on. Was it ABEMA? It's on ABEMA. There we go. So CyberAgent created this, as I remember. This is like trying to remember everything. I'm not really gonna buy anything, but I just want to show my followers what's happening and whatnot. Sell Stardom to the other all-girl promotion that's friendly with WWE. I have not heard anything about Marigold in a while, so I don't know if that would have been. I don't know if it's a good choice, but that's definitely like something to think about, and whatnot. Something to think about. So, it has it not loaded? Oh, it has loaded. Okay, so you know. You can enjoy a variety of stuff, sports, anime, drama, and whatnot. And like I said, do I have to? Can I exit this out? I just want to show. Oh, please cooperate with a simple survey. Oh my God. Do I want to? Please select the category you are most interested in. Let's just go with sports and fitness for now. Well, I could do later. Oh my God. It's not like I have a. Where is like sports? Let's just do martial arts. Like, I don't know. Okay, because all I wanted to do was just show you guys the damn thing. But see, people end up getting this a lot more because you have a lot more stuff to choose from and whatnot. And you can watch like all the dramas and everything. You can watch concerts and anime and drama. I probably mentioned that already. You can do a lot of stuff here. It's really like lots of things. They even have like Korean and Chinese dramas too. And K-pop. But this is what I was talking about. Pro Wrestling Noah is like right here. So, you know, this is gonna be the new home. The new home of New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's gonna be the new home. How, man, you know, we had really good wrestling news with MOW having the partnership with Stardom. And then also the MOW news of them being on Veeps, and Veeps, VEEPS, is part of Live Nation. So, you know, pop culture and music is starting to get together with wrestling, and it's, you know, pretty cool right now. So I don't know. I'm trying to make like the comparison, I guess, or the correlation of, you know, this Amoeba having everything, and then like New Japan is getting sold over here, and then we have the MOW stuff. Also, I do want to mention too that New Japan Pro Wrestling mentioned that August, like 31st, but it's in August of this year, that they will no longer be showing the AEW programming on the NJPW World. Thank God, because it's really unfair that was only for Japanese residents that decided to get the membership for NJPW World, and it wasn't open to anyone that had a membership. So if you lived in Japan and you bought the subscription to NJPW World, you would have been able to watch the AEW Dynamite and Collision, and at the time Rampage programming, and also what I called that the decline of not wanting to pay the two commentators that sacrificed and gave up their time, which was El Desperado, the girl and the guy. I don't know their names. But to not pay them anymore and tell them not to do commentary anymore. And that's when you know things were going downhill. Things are going downhill steadily for both AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. AEW, with how strong the partnership is starting to dwindle. Even though face value, it may really feel like they're doing good. They're not doing good. Why would you stop Japanese commentary over the AEW Dynamite shows when you're supposed to be promoting your partnership over in Japan with the Japanese audience, so that way whoever has NJPW World, when an AEW wrestler comes over, there's, you know, they don't get crickets. Do you guys remember the second the second night of Wrestle Kingdom of like this year or like last year? And the second night was like the Wrestle Dynasty, the one that AEW and Tony Khan created, but they wanted to switch it up and be like, oh no, we didn't create that. Like New Japan Pro Wrestling created it. But you remember night 2? Every single AEW wrestler got no pop. They got no reaction from the Japanese crowd. And that's because of telling the commentary team, the Japanese commentary team, to stop doing the commentary, and they're not going to pay them. So that is their fault. They don't care about New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tony Khan may say that he cares about Japanese wrestling and legacy and like all this shit, but his actions and his patterns prove otherwise. And then, you know, you have ass kissing. You don't have anybody there to be like, bro, do you care or do you not care? It's either a yes or no, and then we could go into the details. It's either yes or no. Do you care or not care? I care about New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I still get shit from people, and I still talk about it because I care about New Japan Pro Wrestling. You guys ain't gonna fucking stop me. Anyway, let me calm down. Let me bring it back to, you know, this kind of stuff. Let me just bring it back. But yes, New Japan Pro Wrestling will now be on the ABEMA site. He cares when it suits him. Exactly, Mo. Exactly. That should be like the tagline. He cares when it suits him. When he's buying up all the wrestlers. Prove me wrong. All of my haters. Prove me wrong. How has he not bought anybody? Everyone has a price. The $1 Million Man was completely right, man. But shit, don't do it like this. Anyway, so New Japan Pro Wrestling will now be on here. AEW will no longer be a part of the NJPW World. They are going to do business as usual. But eventually, I think the NJPW World is going to get faded out. The same way that, unfortunately, the WWE Network, the network that I worked on in 2018 when I signed my WWE contract, the same network that I worked on for all you WWE fans out there in 2018, the same way that the WWE Network faded out, I think eventually the NJPW World is probably going to get faded out. And it might just get absorbed by ABEMA, just so that way they can cut down on cost, because it does take a lot of money to run a server, and maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling can't do it anymore. Maybe the servers are way too much. I don't know how much they are, but I do know that, like, generally speaking, servers cost a lot. But maybe they might integrate it all into ABEMA. Also, I hear through the grapevine that the WWE distribution that is on ABEMA that gives them like the pay-per-views and I think Raw, SmackDown, and NXT might be coming to an end for, like, you know, them being on the network. However, WWE is a lot smarter than, like, you know, most people. And I think they might end up renewing the contract, because when it gets announced that WWE ends up wanting to go to Japan, everybody cosplays as their favorite wrestler, and it is fantastic, and everybody knows WWE way more than they know AEW, and that is concerning. But do AEW fans care? No. Do the sickos care? No. Is AJPW still around? They probably are. They probably are. Okay, I got my fan to calm down. Oh my god, I got my fan to calm down. And then the house phone rings. I am streaming. Fan. Anyway, I do not know. I mean, they're probably still around. They probably are. So yeah. I am happy that New Japan Pro Wrestling finally got sold. I am happy that New Japan Pro Wrestling found a new home that was very quick to be like, hey, this is going to be your new home now. If we could do the same thing with Stardom, that would be great, because I think it's really unfair that they didn't get sold as well. So we'll see what happens, because it's mad weird. Now, the other thing too that the AEW fans might get upset about with me is that, if you've been watching my content for a long time, I have said that I want MLW to probably save New Japan Pro Wrestling. They probably can. And then I got yelled at. And I also said that The Rock, I was like pleading with The Rock to buy New Japan Pro Wrestling, because he had the shirt. And, with the partnership that WWE has with Pro Wrestling Noah, it's only a matter of time until WWE does a partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling the same way that they have the partnership with AAA. It is only a matter of time. And I am going to be right. It's only a matter of time. You don't sell to the network where that Pro Wrestling Noah has an in with WWE. If that New Japan Pro Wrestling has a partnership with AEW. Because then that would be a conflict of interest. If you really want to look at it that way with that kind of nuance, you would have tried to sell New Japan Pro Wrestling to anybody else around Japan that might not be as big and huge as like CyberAgent. I don't know if there's like anything else around there. But, yeah. You don't do that without some type of strategy. So I know I have probably been saying for the longest that I want the partnership between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling to just finally get cut. It should get cut. And this should be a warning. Because right now you are on, I don't want to call it enemy territory, but that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it enemy territory. Eventually, New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to come around to it and take a deal, because New Japan Pro Wrestling needs the money now more than ever, because even though they got sold, they still need money to survive. We'll see what happens in the next couple of months, but this is going to be a very, very interesting development that they're on one of the biggest streaming networks over in Japan, and WWE is also involved with ABEMA with their distribution of their shows and their pay-per-views. And then Pro Wrestling Noah did the excursion with WWE, and Pro Wrestling Noah has the slight partnership with WWE, and it's fantastic. It is fan-fucking-tastic. Yep, it is. All right, guys. I don't know what else to talk about with this whole thing. I think I covered everything that I could with the whole entire selling of New Japan Pro Wrestling, talking a little bit about money, talking about this network and whatnot, talking about everything else. But man, I can't wait for like anything else. But like I said, MLW partners with Stardom, and this happens, and now we got to see what Bushiroad does with the money that they borrowed and see what happens, and keep a close eye on it. Am I missing anything? I don't know if I'm missing anything. I really did want to talk about that. I did do a live stream last on Substack where I forgot to talk about John Cena's little mini John Cena classic that he has. But I said what I said about it. I want to see more about it. That's what I want to do. I want to see more about it. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm excited to see what kind of new stuff New Japan is going to do now they're on a bigger networking site and whatnot. But yeah, all right. I guess I'm gonna outro us because I don't know. I think I covered everything. The Bushiroad stuff is what I really wanted to focus on. Because that was like a whoa, really? Because in Japan, no one really like retires. It's not like here in the United States where if you reach 65, you can retire if you want to, or you could continue to like work and whatnot. But for the most part, you can like retire at 65. Over in Japan, you either retire where the wheels fall off, or you unfortunately pass away. Japan is like, you gotta work for the rest of your life. So it's kind of like, oh shit, they're gonna sell New Japan Pro Wrestling? Like, what is happening? We're in 2026. Like, what the fuck is happening? Let me see if there's anything else I want to go over before anything, Best of the Super Juniors, the G1 Climax, the opening day is going to be in Chicago on July 10th. I'm still like, that's not going to do shit. Meaning that, it's not going to create the buzz that New Japan desperately needs. It's a G1 Climax fan event, comes to Chicago July 10th. So like it's probably opening day and like a fan event. But it's not going to create the buzz that you guys need. You guys need like a whole entire month to just tour within the United States, one of your biggest events, like the G1 or, what do you call it? No, I think, yeah. Oh, the G1 and like, the cup, the New Japan Cup. I think those two events, the G1 and the cup, should be in the United States for that amount of time. And that is how you guys are going to boost up the name of New Japan Pro Wrestling in the States. You guys have to take that risk. Now that you guys got sold off to Cyber Agent and like ABEMA, if you just ask around, ask some questions, try to plan some stuff, make some phone calls, like, maybe The Rock or Triple H or Shane McMahon, anyone with money that will back up New Japan Pro Wrestling, not Tony Khan, to get you guys a tour within the United States for either the G1 Climax or the New Japan Cup. And if you do that, and you do it right, with like a fan event here, a fan event there, some cool ass shit, you guys will have the buzz. You guys will start building up a reputation within the United States, but you have to take the risk, and you cannot be so strict to fan videos. You cannot be so strict if someone is recording and they upload it to the internet and it's within like the United States and whatnot. You can't restrict them because that's how you get your name out there. But with a little bit of planning, you guys would be very, very good if you guys did a whole entire tour like that. And I believe in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but no one is looking over here. All the fans, all my haters yell at me, but I'm still going to talk about it. I'm still going to give you ideas because I really do love, New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's not just liking. It's not. It's not me putting on an act. It's not me trying to virtue single. Fuck that shit. It's not me trying to put on a performance here. What you see is what you get. What you hear is what you get too. It's me loving this business. It's me loving professional wrestling. It's me loving these wrestlers because I know that they could put on some really great matches and some really great story. And all you guys need to do in New Japan Pro Wrestling is to take a big ass risk, because the reward is probably going to be sweeter. And you know what? I am going to end it on that. And yes, Kota Ibushi's wheels did fell off as well, but I am going to end it on that. Because I think that's a powerful thing to end it on and whatnot. But I do want to say thank you to people that tuned in to watch. And if you're going to watch this on the VOD, thank you also as well. And over on Substack, thank you for tuning in and listening to me. Thank you for the new follows over at Substack as well. And yeah, also just to thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Just to reiterate, you can find me on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. You can also find me on marieshadows.substack.com. You can also find me on Instagram at marieshadows.scp. Over on the Substack, which is a free wrestling newsletter, there is obviously a paywall from time to time, but it's a free wrestling newsletter. We do have a private group chat that is free for my readers, where we get to chat about wrestling and stuff like that. I do not know when the next live stream is going to be, and if it is, I will put it on my socials, mainly Instagram, marieshadows.substack.com. If you resonated with anything here, click that follow button, hit that like button, and share it out to your friends, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, because we are on Spotify. The Square Circle Podcast is on Spotify. And we're also on Substack too. Share it out. Get people talking about the conversation, even if they're going to yell at me. It is what it is. I do have a merch store where you can get this lovely, lovely, lovely hat. This will be down in the description below or in the shopping area of YouTube as well. Support the channel, support me with merch. Stay tuned for more updates on when I'm going to do the wrestling planner. And I have a throne wish list to help get stuff I need to make my content a little bit better for you guys. But I do hope that you guys enjoy this stream. I talked a lot. I had to get a lot off my chest, and I still have some more to say. But right now, I think that we are in a very, 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 very good place. I look forward to reading your comments, replying, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye!